Dennis, here we are.
Here we are.
Between machines, you're on the end, so how does that work?
Yeah, it's interesting, let's say. Yeah, we get a bit of a breeze here, so it's a bit nicer.
Yeah, you've got a good slot here.
Yeah, a bit of sunshine.
You can dash out for a cigarette really easily.
We're kind of close to the forest as well.
And the bar, I hear.
Yeah.
Good choice. So what are we showing here?
We've been working on a module called Qlocker. We showed it last year, but we've been kind of fine-tuning it over the last year or so, and it should be coming out in the next 2 to 3 months, so maybe like August or September. And it's a parametric trigger sequencer.
Parametric trigger. So how does that work?
So basically it generates trigger rhythms. It has 5 outputs, and the rhythms it generates depend on how you set the controls. So you can tweak the controls and it will change how it generates the rhythms.
So is there literally a cue control?
No, I can talk you through it actually.
Let's go.
Yeah. So the module has tempo and swing. The swing is your typical 16th note swing, and then there are 5 outputs down here at the bottom. So there's a 1 output that gives you a trigger on the 1 of the bar. There's a clock output that gives you a 16th note clock, and that's a swung clock. So it depends on the swing setting. And then you have 3 other outputs, div, mult, and blend, and they relate to these knobs here. So the best way to start is with the div. So I'll just, so we have this percussion sound. Okay. So if the knob is all the way counterclockwise, it's a divide by 4. So kind of clock divider idea.
Yeah.
And then if it's all the way over here, it's a divide by 2. So twice as fast. And then if it's anywhere in the middle, it's a probabilistic choice.
Oh, okay.
Between the two, divide by 4 or divide by 2. So you can hear it kind of generates rhythms that way.
So that seems to be really kind of performance oriented.
Absolutely,
easy to
yeah.
Kind of grab and tweak.
Yeah, it's all about performance, and it's all about like playability. There's the mult output here, which is the same idea, but it's multiplied by 1 and multiplied by 2, so you get either 16th or 32nd notes. And it's the same idea. The further you go this way, the more 30 seconds you go, and the further you go this way, the more 16ths you get.
Nice.
So you can kind of tweak the feel of it, basically. Yeah. And then the final output is this blend output, and that's actually a blend of these 2 probabilities. So I'm using that for the bass line. I don't know how much you can hear that. Let's turn it up a little bit. So when it's all the way here, it's using this probability. And then if it's all the way over here, you'll hear there's more activity because it's using this probability more. So you can kind of tune the amount of activity you want. And so if I turn everything on, so sometimes you might have too much action with these mult and blend. So we have this mask knob here, and basically at noon it's not masking anything, but if the more you turn it this way, it kind of thins out the sound. And it does it in a kind of musical fashion. So this one, when you go in this direction, this one ends up more on the offbeat, and this one ends up more on the beat. And if you go in the opposite direction, this one's more on the beat, and this one's more on the offbeat. So you can kind of play it.
So, and that overrides everything. Is it kind of?
Yeah. So
not exactly panic button, but kind of reduce it down.
Exactly.
Make it sensible.
Kind of like an energy control, basically.
Right.
Yeah. And then, so if you hear something you like, then if you press this button in the middle, it'll loop the last bar.
Ah, neat.
So it's generative, but it also, you can kind of make something that's a constant groove with it. And it has some other performance features.
So how long's the buffer for that?
It's like a 1 bar, so it's 16 beats. So it'll capture, one bar of 16. The mute will just mute this blend output. So I'll use it at the moment for the bass line. And then there's flip, which flips the mult and the blend. So it'll do a kind of a fill-like thing. So it's quite playable, pretty jammable.
Are these latching buttons?
Yeah, they latch, and they.
Can you use them momentarily if you want?
No, not at the moment, but we're going to have a kind of browser-based interface. And basically, I think I'm going to stick with the module having the kind of functionality that I think works.
Right.
But as people suggest things and ask for features, I'll put them as options in this web-based browser, so they can connect over Wi-Fi, and also Wi-Fi firmware updates over Wi-Fi as well.
Cool.
So it also so it generates clock internally, and it's a very, very, very solid clock. But also it'll sync to an external clock very, very tightly. You can also, I have this other feature, which is if you hold this for a second, it goes into a mode where it CV controls the tempo directly.
Right.
So you can add a little or lots of wobble into the tempo if you want. So it's kind of nice maybe for ambient stuff. You could send it an envelope to do these kind of tumbling style beats. So it's not for everybody, but I really like that feature. And then there's CV control over these three. You can trigger looping and mute with an external trigger, and we'll also have an offset, so you can slip the loop back and forth relative to the incoming clock. So.
And this is available now, yeah?
It's available in about 2 or 3 months.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And
it's
estimated price?
I think it'll be somewhere in the region of 320 or to 350 euros, somewhere around there. We're just kind of working out the final details at the moment.
Okay, and what's the website people can see?
What's the
website?
Oh, the website. It's Between Machines, and so it's it's .es. So the ES of machines is the kind of bit on the end of the URL. So yeah, thanks a million, Andy.
Many thanks.
Yeah.
Have a good show.
Thanks.
Take care.